CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
The guy's a stallion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They put that little guy in front of him, drafted him number 1.
Yeah.
And Stroud has been, not only that, no interceptions, 6 TDs, 1,200 yards.
Looks great.
Yeah. They put together a decent offense.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce is starting to come back. The offensive line is gelling. Have you heard the rumors that Caleb said he ain't going to the Bears? And he's like, no.
All right, you're going to have the team in the league vying for your services. The fan base goddamn needs you, you selfish son of a bitch. I hope he's lying to me right now.
No.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Guys on Sports. We're wrapping up week 4. I'm here with the boys, and it's a pretty troublesome week for us. I know across the board we've all had some things happen, but I'll let you guys take the floor. How was your week 4?
Murky. I was finished a little bit above 500 by the skin of my teeth. Ended up 3-2, but a couple of my teams, I don't know about them.
Yeah. What about you, Mark?
My teams are actually faring pretty well this year. I got a couple of, in some best balls, I got a couple of late round studs, such as Devin Chan that's coming on, and probably shouldn't have cursed in the first 35 seconds.
That's
It
fine.
just kind of slipped out there.
Yeah.
It's par for the course.
Par for the course. But you know, my teams aren't doing too bad, and in all the home leagues, I'm faring very well. I think I got 1 loss in 1. I'm undefeated in 2 of them. So yeah. I can't complain.
Well, I won a little bit of money daily, but my 2 main leagues, I went 0-2. I needed 17 points from Daniel Jones last night. Didn't happen, and we won't talk about that at least right now. But, yeah, so all in all, it was a real shitty weekend since you got the party started with the cursing. Hey, but if you're trying to avoid shitty weekends, go to CHALKBOARD. Links in our bio on our TikTok, at GOM Podcast. Get info from us. I mean, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong, but there's other guys in there giving info. Rocky's cheat sheets, Mark's must starts, and I give picks out every week. This week I did not do well, so take it with a grain of salt. But check us out on CHALKBOARD. Links in the bio.
Yeah.
So, what about our real teams, guys?
Well, can I say something
Quickly,
about...
can we do it shortly, though?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we? I don't think we can.
Keep it succinct.
Yeah, I don't know if we can. I don't know if we can.
This is the perfect week to do this too, by the way, because I don't need his shitty grin over on the other end of the table. Like, we're 4-0 because we barely beat some subpar teams, and we love the tush push.
Talk from a position of power because we beat the Commanders by coming back.
And we have the most recent Super Bowls out of everybody because I'm only counting from the year that they won till now.
Yeah. I can tell you about I was physically sick watching the Browns game. Physically sick. I can't recover. I don't have many more of those type of games in me.
Yeah.
I know.
It sounds like you're still sick from that flatulence before the show, too. A couple of those sounded a little loose
We
there,
don't want to
buddy.
peek behind the counter.
You almost browns in your pants there, feller.
Browns be
What
Browns.
about you with your collapse? Let's keep it just opening statements.
Listen, here's the thing. Chicago.
Oh boy, it's an opening statement.
Here we go.
Chicago
I didn't
sucks,
actually. I don't
man.
need a whole. Just how do you feel?
Last week I said if you don't come out and beat Denver, you need to go somewhere. And guess what? They didn't beat Denver.
They came out and beat Denver, and then they lost.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That's
what
what
do you owe that? Because it was interesting. I thought they had it. What do you owe that clap? Was it coaching?
You're poking.
No, I'm asking.
I know,
like,
but I'm saying
I
There
didn't
is.
watch the game.
So
You're
here's the
pulling
thing.
out of monologue right now.
They came out and they did what they had to do. They shut Denver down on the first drive in the third quarter. I went, yes, here it is. Then they went and they scored 28-7. Then Denver marches downfield. They score after a couple of questionable calls. But that touchdown that brought them within a score when Fields fumbled the goddamn
Oh,
ball.
it was crazy. Sick to your stomach.
I was like, oh God, I want to find the NFL scriptwriter and I want to slit his throat before week 5
That's
because
what you should do.
this is crazy.
Do it. I'm with you.
I mean, this is bad. Like they're doing this intentionally. It's horrendous. There's no way that you lose to that shitbag team being up by 3 scores with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It just doesn't happen.
Let Russ cook.
Russ didn't even cook. That's the problem.
He's cooking at the end.
He's cooking at the end.
Some short ribs.
No, I get what you're saying, though.
Corn on the cob.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants season has just been like hell from the first drive. It's just, it feels like one of those old seasons I remember growing up where everything just goes. It feels like everything's going to go wrong. Where last year everything felt like it was going to go right, besides playing the Eagles. It just felt like everything was going to, every time we snapped the ball, I think the worst thing's going to happen, and it's kind of happening. But that being said, something that'll lift my spirits a little bit. Let's get into my favorite section, at least for today, TikTok Take.
Well, because we control it.
Yeah, we control it.
We can, for a change.
Yes.
So we will hear the first thing that, this is the first time in the history of our podcast that we'll actually bring up a negative comment about pretty girl here.
You got these guys hurt, Zach, if you're watching. But like I said, let's lay out for a second so I can play the sounder. TikTok Take. Okay, TikTok Take. So this is perfect timing, and that's why I'm bringing this up. You know, Zach was very, 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 very heavy on Miles Sanders this year coming into the season, and albeit with some bias. I think he acknowledged a little bit a couple weeks ago that he might be biased, and he put a clip up, and we got some interesting responses. So there's a bunch of them to pick from, but we'll just go with a couple that I liked, and it'll help us kind of highlight just his ineptitude when it comes to evaluating Eagles players. But Miles Sanders, who was this that said this? Oh, man, I got to get the guy's name. Hold on. I'm going to have to cut this. I screenshotted it, and I screenshotted his name right out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is from El Bebe Jefe. El Bebe Jefe said, Miles Sanders wasn't good with the Eagles O-line and Hurts running the read option. Why the fuck would he be good in Carolina?
Yeah.
Take that, Zach.
It's a fair question.
It is a fair question.
It's a very fair question.
And
I don't know why he's so high. Why is he so high on Miles Sanders? Do we know? I know that he said that he thinks
he's a favorite
he's
player, I think.
All right. I mean, Miles Sanders is a good athlete, but his track record in Philly, and again, that guy's right. I mean, their O-line was great, and he was too often injured for me. Like, he didn't play through small injuries. He reminded me a bit of like a Ricky Waters, like a for who for
Ricky
what.
Waters.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I catch a ball over the middle?
Another former Eagle.
Yeah.
All right, so then we have a couple more. I might read both because these are good. Lowe said, laugh my ass off. He must have him on his fantasy team, and he must have had a bad game. So obviously Lowe is not following fantasy or Carolina Panthers football because he did indeed have a bad game, which we're going to talk about later in our waiver wire section. And for the last one, I'll just point out Zachary Robinson says, I'm an Eagles fan, but he's not that running back you make him out to be. And Pro Bowls aren't really anything anymore. They give it to anyone nowadays, which I also agree with because, I mean, you're getting like, the fourth or fifth alternate guy at positions a lot of times now.
Everybody that's still going in the playoffs ends up opting out. We saw it last year with Mahomes, and that's how Trevor Lawrence ended up on the squad, and everyone was like, "See, I told you, Trevor Lawrence is a Pro Bowler." No, he wasn't. He wasn't a Pro Bowler. He was a fill-in. He was a fill-in guy. He was a backstage bitch. That's what he was. And
There's a lot.
There is a lot.
There's a lot of anger.
You know what? This year, I'm just so pent up. This year, it's not going to be good, guys. I'm going to be like this all year long. I can feel it now.
I understand. And Zach deserves it because Zach's a real.
Well,
he's something.
it's not going to be just Zach. I mean, everybody and everything is going to be in my crosshairs. I told you, I wasn't joking last night on the thread. I've given up. I just don't care. I have nothing to lose. So whatever comes to my mind is coming out of my pie hole. I don't care anymore.
I'm going to say what I always say. There are different types of fans. Some people are, I like them. I like the Browns.
Yeah.
And then there are people that live and die with the Browns, the Giants, the Bears. That's us.
Yes.
You got to give a 24 out. If you love a person as a friend, you got to give a 24-hour window to cool down. And Zachary defiles that every week.
He shits on it.
Every week.
It's
He
bad.
pokes the bear. And here's the thing, too. Like, I almost I almost disowned my own parents this past weekend because I almost blamed them for the collapse because we were winning 28-7 when they came in the door, and then all of a sudden it went to shit, and I started looking at them cross-eyed. My mom's like, "What do you think? You think we jinxed you?" I'm like, "Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
You might have." You know what I mean?
There's
If I'm willing to put that on my parents, I'm going to put it anywhere. You know what I mean? I just don't care. I mean that's the type of fan I am. I'm a diehard fan like that.
Me and my brother were together watching the game last night, and we were willing to Dudley Boy style put my mother through a table when she came in the living room trying to make fun of us for the Giants losing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this close.
Listen, don't play around.
If she wasn't my mother, she would have went through the table.
Yeah, I was up, frustrated beyond belief, maybe more frustrated than I've ever been. Mm-hmm. And my wife goes, "Calm down." And I almost said, "Get the out of what the this is my house. You will get out with that filthy mouth that you kiss your mother with." What? Calm down. This is light.
It is light, Rocky. And with that, let's talk about our partners, Thrive Fantasy. See the hat right there?
Yeah, see the playing cards?
Yeah, so Thrive Fantasy, awesome platform. First-time users get up to $250 match on their first deposit with our link, promo code GUYS, all caps. We get new promos every week. So I don't know how many of you guys out there have used these type of platforms before, but the promos are typically like a freebie to help you out with your lineup. So this week, the freebies are Justin Fields on Thursday Night Football, over 1 yard passing.
I go under.
You got CeeDee Lamb over 1 yard, a half yard receiving, and Devontae Adams also on Monday night over a half yard receiving. So every week they're doing these free fantasy squares, prop bets, slashes, boosts, etc. every month. So keep watching here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and get in tune with Thrive, all right? Because they're our partners. They know what's going on. They got their head on straight, and they're pumping out good stuff over there. So
I'm gonna listen. Thank you, Thrive, and I'm gonna say go to their site, take the $250 free dollars, match it.
They'll match it.
Put all $500 on the Maryland Terrapins.
Okay.
Getting 18.5 points to cover that game against the Ohio State Buckeye. Mark my words. They will cover that spread, and you will thank me for it. I will make somebody's week.
What is a terrapin?
It's a turtle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it sounded like, you know what? That makes sense.
Yeah,
turtle.
A
Because there's an IPA called Terrapin is a turtle.
Yeah,
I thought it was a fish.
terrapin is a turtle. I don't know what the fuck a terrapin is.
Yeah, that's...
I said what I said. But I'm telling you guys, take your money, put it on Maryland. They will cover that game. The Buckeyes are still finding themselves. And they could, listen, Maryland could outright beat us. But they will cover that spread.
What is going on with their quarterback situation? Are they
brand new.
Are they toggling between two right now?
They've chosen, and honestly, he was a man. He had his final drive, and he looked like the part. But he's 4 games into his first season, so he's learning. But anyways, make some money on me.
I'm looking forward to Marvin Harry Jr. joining the Bears squad next year.
That would be the worst. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shovel it on you, but that is where receivers go to die.
I will shoot you. I will shoot you.
But you're
Look what you did to Chase.
Yeah,
how dare you? He's a top 3
Top
receiver.
3 receiver.
Healthy scratch, huh?
Yeah, top 3 receiver. And you guys made him look like a pile of crap.
Did you see the latest news?
What's the latest news?
So nobody wants to give up a 5th round draft pick for this guy, so we're just going to cut bait.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's about time.
All right, now it's time for What Did We Learn? Okay, boys. Well, I mean, we've touched on it a little bit. Usually we go from that side of the table.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'll let you guys. Do you want to go first?
I'll let you go first.
I'm democratic. I'm not ready to go first. You want me to go first? I'll go first. I don't like what you did.
No, I thought that's what you were getting at, right? Or did you want to go in the middle?
I was trying to give you a chance to pivot.
But then I did pivot, and then he got all...
not to me. Not to me. I'm not ready to go.
Pivot to him? That doesn't make any sense.
You say you're democratic?
Try to be democratic.
No, don't.
Oh, okay. I could go first.
I feel like, is this like a running joke? Because I bring this up every week, and I'm like, why do we start in the same spot? Because
It is a little
sometimes
bit of a running joke. No,
I
it
got one
wasn't
if you
because
want
of
me to. I can go.
No, I'm bringing up my guy. We can. I mean,
It
yeah,
don't
you
matter.
go first. Who do you
All
got?
right.
What did you learn?
Number one,
Yeah.
it's Stefanski. We saw
okay.
him do it to Diggs. We saw him do it to OBJ. He managed Mayfield into oblivion. It's Stefanski. He is not a head coach. He doesn't know how to manage a game. Listen, I get that DTR was a rookie. I get that he was in over his head. You can't look that bad. I don't care. You are being paid millions to lead a team in the NFL. You got to have your backup. And you decided
Yeah.
to trade Joshua Dobbs. You decided. Now, Dobbs looks pretty good.
Dobbs does look pretty good.
You got a
I mean,
fourth-round
that's-
pick for him, and you thought DTR was ready. It's Stefanski.
Okay.
The guy might not be a coach.
I'm not going to disagree with you. It's definitely Stefanski.
What do you think? He's out this year if they don't make the playoffs?
I mean, they
Or
can't get
contend.
rid of Watson,
Yeah.
so it's going to have to be the coach. And I do got to say, he might be a coordinator, and that's what he is. I hate it because he's a striking fellow, good-looking man on the sideline.
What? That makes you okay. I get
Yeah,
it.
it does
I get
something. Yeah.
I get it.
It doesn't
I'm not
always
gonna-
translate, though.
Yeah, it
Look
doesn't
at-
always translate.
If I'm trying to grab a beer, I'm looking for a
I mean-
good-looking guy. I'm not going for Dable.
But look at all the
It's not fair. He's a
longevity.
good-looking gentleman.
Look at all the longevity.
nice beard, nice eyes.
in good coaching. You know, I mean, Andy Reid looks like a hippopotamus. Bill Belichick, he looks like a goddamn gremlin. I mean, these guys aren't striking fellows. He's really, really good head coaches. I would make the argument maybe Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a bit of a striking fella, I guess.
Sriracha sauce. It's a good-looking guy. It's Italian.
Sriracha sauce.
Sirianni.
Oh,
Sriracha.
Sirianni.
Yeah.
There's no what? Do not give the Eagles props, dude. Sirianni.
No, Sirianni doesn't have. He doesn't have a chin.
He doesn't have a ship either. So I mean, there's that.
That's true. All right, you ready? What
Yeah.
you learn?
What did I learn? Well, speaking of the Eagles, I learned that apparently that Philly's got something there in the tush push. I refuse to call it the brotherly shove. It is what it is. It's the tush push.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that they got something there is because there's been a couple other teams that have tried this.
Yeah.
Chicago actually tried it on a 4th and 1.
Yeah.
They did not convert. We watched the Giants try it last night and
Get 2 players injured.
not only did they get 2 players injured, Daniel Jones flopped like a dead fish.
Yeah,
He
he
just
did.
kind of like fell into the line.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I think the key to the success is that Philadelphia offensive line, bunch of big striking fellas, and I think Jalen Hurts really has an affinity of getting right in there behind him. And I think that
He's not afraid, is what you're saying.
Like-
he's
get
not
in.
afraid.
Likes
As a
to
matter
get
of
dirty.
fact,
Likes to get
he's
dirty.
not.
he's got motivation to
not
just
holding back.
to really get in there and really push behind that
really
offensive line.
likes to lean in.
Yeah, and then he's got someone coming behind them too. He's usually got Dallas guy. He's got a couple of bigger gentlemen coming in behind him, and he's he's kind of the meat on that sandwich.
That's
and
always good.
I think because of his motivation to be the meat on that sandwich is why I
There you
think
go.
that play works more
Saying
often
meat
than
a
not.
lot.
Yeah, I mean
I think
there's
he's hungry.
there's a lot of meat in that sandwich
Yeah.
I don't know.
in front of him, behind him.
Okay, so is that really what you learned?
That's what I learned.
That's what he learned. Okay, so what I learned, which I think we all know, is the Giants and the Bears are dead officially for the season. And I think fantasy-wise, I think you could kind of, DOA on most of these guys.
I
Like
mean, who do you start with the Giants?
Saquon when he comes
Yeah,
back.
that's
That's
it.
about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Now, I will say I felt bad for Danny. last
we'll
night.
get into the Giants. We'll get into them. But yes, I mean, there's Daniel Jones has to account for some stuff last night too. But the Bears as well. I just don't know who. I mean, Justin Fields was my QB1.
I mean, to be fair, he's putting up good fantasy numbers.
Good, but not like what we were expecting coming off last year.
Oh, yeah.
And the surrounding cast, who do we feel great? Here's the thing.
DJ
I can
Moore.
make cases for guys, right? Yeah, DJ Moore. I can make cases for guys on both teams, but with the Bears, I don't trust the coaching anymore, right? And with the Giants, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know if it's the coaching. I don't know what it is. But I just feel like both those franchises right now, as far as what happened over the weekend, the Bears were right there. Not at a point where they're going to make the playoffs, but you could have turned the season around in a sense where you could have been competitive. I think all the air was taken out of their tires or whatever you want to say. And the Giants was basically a repeat of what happened opening night. And I think, man, you're going to really have to see something change significantly with both franchises for it to look any different than it has looked so far. Yeah. So to end with the Giants, yes, Danny Jones sacked 11 times, out of hand. But I think from where that offense was at the end of last year with less weapons, when I could bring up the numbers for you, so I'm not talking out of my ass. How much they were throwing the ball, the yardage he was throwing for, average per reception. If you take away the first half of the season, just look at the second half, they've regressed. And I think he's scared. Last night he looked scared to throw the ball.
He did.
I don't think he trusts his receivers to make catches, and I don't think he trusts his tackles, especially without Andrew Thomas there. And you could see it. You could see it in some of those late. He's double clutching. He threw that second interception because he got hit. Because he double clutched the ball. He didn't let it go. I mean, it just looks bad. It reminded me of how Fields looked last week. Not the Broncos game, the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that from him. What I've seen from him in his early years is being too decisive and trying to fit things where they shouldn't go. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Well, and there were a few of his INTs which it wasn't his fault.
the goal line one was tough.
Yeah.
That was
It was brutal.
But I turned it off after that. I didn't even watch. So then did you guys keep watching? Because I heard this morning somebody said that it was like he was expecting a receiver to turn in and he kept going, which I could understand that. But then I heard that there was somebody running wide open on that play. He missed the read.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he definitely. But again, you have 11 sacks. It's got. I don't care who you are. It's got to play into your mind a little bit that you're going to get hit.
Yeah,
you gotta play. Here's why: you lose that game, you get sacked 11 times, no matter what. But you gotta play above everything that's happening too. As the quarterback, you have to make some plays. You can't score 3 points.
Yes.
So I gotta see. You gotta be competitive, right? If you're the quarterback, or what are we doing? Last night was the first time I seen him outside of, well, not the first time. This season, the first 2 times I've seen him not be competitive in a game. So that worries me a little bit.
Yeah, we watched like the first 2 drives and then we turned it off to watch The Golden Bachelor, which we DVR'd last week.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, I hope that was your wife's decision because Trisha wanted to watch.
What's wrong with The Bachelor?
Well, it's not that anything's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with The
But
Golden
you
Bachelor?
TBR it and watch the football game.
It's The Golden Bachelor.
I get it.
I mean, like, it's not that you can't watch it.
Here, put yourself in his shoes. It's Monday night. You're hanging out there with your wife. You got the Bears on. First 2 drives, they look like shit.
The Bears.
Why do you stay tuned in?
You don't.
Why would he stay tuned in for the Giants game when they look like shit?
It's football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch a shitty game if it's not my
Watched
team.
one last night.
No, I didn't. I went to bed. I went to bed.
I'm thinking about taking a stroll to Jacksonville, checking out Duval Street, man. See, maybe
Oh, yeah? That's what you're thinking about doing?
I can promise you
maybe
this
buying
much.
a jersey.
If I ever gave up the Browns fandom, it would not be for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, that's just
It wouldn't be.
a lateral move.
Yeah, if I'm giving up my fandom, I'm going bandwagon. I'm going bandwagon all the way.
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs,
You're staying AFC.
Eagles,
Yeah,
49ers.
Don't go Eagles.
I'm going out to the Bay.
You gotta make a better choice than the Eagles. 'Cause
Joe
the Eagles
Montana, 49ers.
I go with a team that's always good. You go Packers.
No.
I don't often want to punch you,
But
but
I'm just saying they are always good though. Don't go with the flavor of the month. The Eagles. The Eagals will be bad again.
Oh.
the Eagles they're the worst 4-0 team out there. I'm just putting that out there. Don't be surprised. They're losing this week to the Rams. You heard it here.
I could get behind that. The Rams have looked good.
Yeah.
The Rams do look good.
Surprising.
If Cup comes back this week, forget about it.
I mean, I think I remember somebody talking about the Rams here, saying that they could be surprised. I don't know.
Yeah, I also
Sean
remember
McVay,
somebody
people-
talking about the Giants.
That's fair. That's fair. I also remember some people talking about. You know what? We'll do this all
It's
day.
a scale,
All right,
Rocky.
so
You
what's
got to
the-
bounce.
What is the next? Did you learn anything else this week, Rocky?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I learned that whether fantasy or real football,
Yeah.
you got to ride the CJ CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's a stallion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? They put that little guy in front of him, drafted him number 1.
Yeah.
And Stroud has been, not only that, no interceptions, 6 TDs,
He looks
1,200 yards.
He looks great.
Yeah.
The whole team looks great, though.
They
D'Amico
look
Ryans,
better than
credit to D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah. They put together a decent offense.
Yeah.
Damian Pierce is starting to come back. The offensive line is gelling. Man.
Decent offense. I think they're plus 30 the last 2 weeks. They blew out Steelers, and then who they blow? They blew out the Jacksonville Jaguars, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
So good.
You know what?
Oh no, not this week. This week they Jags played Atlanta.
I said
This
they.
is
blew-
this-
I know.
Oh, yeah,
This is
yeah.
one
last
thing
week.
that it's doing. It's cemented that Ohio State quarterbacks, the Ohio State, they're for real in the NFL, barring a shitty coaching job.
Okay. Wow.
But CJ, ride him.
I don't
Ride him.
know. Matt Eberflus isn't the one that lost that fumble without getting touched. I'm just going to put that out there.
Come on.
All right.
That's true, but
Look like you had goddamn Kenny Pickett hands back
so
there.
there's literally. I like what I was saying the preseason. I don't think that division is just the Jags, and I don't think we could.
Yeah.
Jags had a little bit of a turnaround this weekend, but head to head, they kind of dominated them.
They played Desmond Ritter.
And I think they should be favored to win that division at this point.
You think the Texans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
The same record, head to head, they beat them. Who else? You scared? I mean, the Titans look good too. The Titans went out there and curb stomped the Bengals. No, 27-3. That didn't do anything for you.
I mean, the week before the Browns curb stomped them. We saw what happened to the Browns this week.
with the
Titans
guy
aren't that
that
good.
should not be playing in the NFL right now.
Who's that?
DTR. You just said it.
No. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think the Tennessee Titans are anything. I think you might be onto something with the Texans.
So you think why do you think? Because they had a bad game.
They don't look good. They're up and down.
So you're a
Tennessee
believer.
up and
down. That's
You're a
fair.
believer in the Jags then?
No.
Okay.
I
chose the Jags, so I'm
Yeah.
hoping that they rebound and make me look decent.
I told you we were going to find out exactly who the Jags were this year once they had that strength of schedule come out, playing all the top teams from every division. The
I think what
Jags
happened is Sean Blackburn became a fan of the Jags, and they just said, "We give up.
Yeah,
We quit on you, Sean."
it's gonna be.
That's what I
It's
think.
gonna be funny when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
What a bad move on his part, though.
Yeah,
So
To
bad.
switch to the Jags,
yeah.
expect that. And then the Cowboys are
Cowboys
just
look actually pretty
curb
good.
stomping everybody.
Yeah, yeah. You know,
good
you
for
know,
you.
in
That's
his
what
little
you
heart.
get.
Listen, you know, in his little heart,
He's still rooting.
he's still rooting.
He's still rooting
He
too.
definitely is.
When he sees, he's there with his feety pajamas on the
Snuggie.
couch,
Snuggie.
snuggie, and he's like, "Come on, Dak, you can do it." He's doing it.
But he has
he's
relegated
got his-
himself to never being able to brag about it though
Yeah, he
on the
can't.
thread. He can't.
And he's got to kind of say it quietly because Lauren's she's sleeping.
He's paying attention to. Oh yeah,
He's just sleeping.
sleeping.
Come on, Dak. Looks.
Make sure coast is clear. All right, Mark. What else did you learn?
I learned also going back to the Bears that this is like every season. This is now the point 0-4. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and by that I mean we have our first round pick this year, and we also have Carolina's first round pick this year. Currently, they are the two worst teams in the NFL. They're both 0-4. Chicago looks to stand to have the very first two picks in the NFL draft next year. And now I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, which is now both teams are going to mediocreize, probably finish the season with 5 or 6 wins. There's going to be 3 or 4 other teams that sneak in there and have worse records than both of those teams. And we're going to not only screw ourselves out of the season, but we're going to screw ourselves out of those first 2 picks next year. We're going to be stuck with Justin Fields going forward, which I don't think is necessarily a great thing. Numbers don't lie. I would have argued against his 5-20 record, but at this point, I think he's now 5-22 as a starter. He had games in hand, and it's looking bleak, man. It's looking so bleak. So what I learned is that I don't know. I don't think there's no optimism in the Windy City anytime soon.
What if you do get 1 and 2? Because have you heard the rumors that Caleb said he ain't going to the Bears?
I have not heard that.
He's pulling an Eli Manning, and he's like, nope. Hard no.
Don't care. You're
mean,
coming. You're coming. We'll hog tie you, you selfish prick. That is the chance you take at being the best quarterback in college football and coming out as the number one pick. All right, you're gonna have the shittiest team in the league vying for your services. The fan base, goddamn, needs you. You selfish son of a bitch. I hope he's lying to me right
No,
now.
I'm not. That's the rumor.
I think it's a fair assessment, what you just said about Caleb, but I think there's a caveat. I think guys expect when they're the number one pick to go to the shittiest team. But I think when there's a foundational issue with the franchise, I think that's where it changes. I'm being serious. You can attest to the ownership of that franchise.
Yes.
Okay, so the reason Eli didn't go to San Diego is because notoriously they're cheap. Their facilities are run down. They're not very well run. The Spanos, people didn't like them. And Archie Manning knew that, so they did not let him go there. John Elway, similar situation with him. So I don't think it's necessary that they don't want to go to a shitty team. I think ownership plays a big role. So hopefully, your owner dies off soon, and then you're meant.
Yeah, she's getting up there. I mean, it's coming.
Let's make it happen. All right. So, what did I learn? I think what I learned, and I think we all learned in this room, is that the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, well, I'll go the other way. Josh Allen, potential fantasy MVP this year, the way he's been playing, and I think the Buffalo Bills probably should be the favorite along with the 49ers to make the Super Bowl. I think outside of week one, where we had a little hiccup, but I think we could clearly see that was a fluke based on how Pittsburgh's played since week one. They've looked They've looked better than they looked before. Allen has been on fire. There's questions with the Chiefs. I mean, have to go toe-to-toe with a Jets team that was on his last leg and basically almost lose if the refs call,
there was a couple,
yeah.
It was a couple Chiefs calls.
I mean, the best that the Chiefs has looked, no offense, has been playing the Bears, right? It feels bad doing that, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. That's the best they've looked this season. The Eagles, like we said, have looked goodish. They don't look like the Eagles looked last year, though. I say the 49ers are the other team, but I think the Bills are legit. I think it's the Bills' year. And Josh Allen is he's a nutcase out there, man. He's just throwing at 44 points. Oh, man.
He was on our TikTok live stream. Mm-hmm. I said definitively Josh Allen's number one quarterback going into the week.
Yeah.
And I think he's proving it. They look good. Like, is anybody picking any other AFC team against them right now? If the championship,
the Dolphins before this week,
I would have said Miami as well.
And the thing is about the Dolphins, his offense looks really good. Their defense, it's suspect.
And that week one blemish against the Jets, that ain't on Buffalo either. I mean, Aaron Rodgers went down, and the NFL script writers can't change the script that quick, man.
That's true.
The Jets had to win that game because it was going to be Aaron Rodgers
I'll
first.
say this though, the Jets have their number a little bit because the last 2 years they kind of figured out how to stop them with their defense. But the Dolphins, so here's the thing. Here's a little nugget about the Dolphins if you're a guy that likes to go watch tape. They were running like 15 variations of one single play last year. And it was a little motion they used to do for Tyreek across the field or Waddle and get him running with speed onto the same side as Waddle, and they flood the zone, and they have one of those two guys running across the field either on a deep in, and they had a shallow in, whichever one opened up. You get Waddle or Reek running across the field full speed, and they were just destroying defenses. The Bills countered it last year, stopped it, and they kind of shut them down. You remember when they had trouble with them last year. And McDaniels, right? That's his name. He countered back and did a variation where he would motion him from the same side of the field instead of from across the field, so it didn't give them time to shift their coverage, right? And they kind of started, hitting big plays again, and they came into this year with that. But it looks like Buffalo has again adjusted and found something. So if you got these guys or you're counting on, I look forward to seeing who they're playing the next few weeks and seeing if other teams don't do the same and if it slows them down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo's secondary took a hit with Trey White. Season-ending Achilles.
Season?
Yeah, Achilles.
But they're no stranger to not having Trey White. in their lineup either. I mean, I think this is the third time in the last 5 years Trey White has exited the season early with a significant injury. So hopefully the Bills secondary is prepared for that.
I agree. All right, so that's what we learned, and let's take a few seconds here to get prepared for our fantasy breakthrough.
Come on, baby. I need you this week. It's your time. Time for a breakout.
Sounds so beautiful, don't you?
It does, man. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to give you our waiver as this week in our fantasy section. It's what we've been doing all season. The parameters we set, I don't know if we set it to Mark, but it's basically anybody. The guys have to be rostered on less than 40% of leagues on ESPN because that's where we play. I think across the board, unless you're in like a super deep league like you guys are in, most of these guys will be available and pretty low ownership. So, Rocky, who do you got?
So I'm going to go, I guess, first here because I can't figure it out. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. But let me go first. This is a callback.
It's a bitch.
This is a callback to a preseason guy that I told everybody to get. And TikTok, you were a bastard about it.
Okay.
I got comments up the rear.
I was just going to say, if he's not rostered in 40% of the leagues, apparently nobody listened to you preseason.
No, listen, in our league, Bill snatched him up.
Who?
Bill learned.
Who that?
Jake Ferguson.
Yes, I was going to start him this week too.
Jake Ferguson, tight end. He right now, tight end number 7.
Yeah.
Guy has really shown his colors. 17 receptions, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. Competent. And even more important is, if you look at his uncatchable ball target rate, one of the highest in the NFL, they're targeting him even when he has no chance to catch it. They like the guy. I think he's going to continue to evolve in that offense. God knows that Dak is always a little bit afraid of taking a hit. He's looking for that easy outlet. Jake Ferguson, pick him up.
There it is. It's a quality pickup, Rocky. You know who else is a quality pickup? We're going to go to that high-octane offense that they're playing down there in Miami. Like you highlighted, teams are catching on to try to slow down the Reek/Waddle train. What does that do? That opens up the middle for Mr. Braxton Berrios. Braxton Berrios has done it low-key in New York in his previous life. And this year he's averaging 6 targets a game. Is he going to be a weekly start? Absolutely not. But again, like we said last week, this is the point in the season where you want to start making sure that you're hoarding the best depth for your lineups, right? This is week 5. So now you can see the averages that these guys are hitting to want to stash them on your bench for later potential injuries. Reek or Waddle go down. Berrios steps up in a WR2 role. And the way they throw that ball down there all loosey-goosey, I mean, you're looking at, if his baseline is 6 targets, that means it goes up with an injury. So roster Braxton Berrios.
Braxton Berrios, all right. And more to your point, start building for the end of the season here. Chuba Hubbard, okay? We talked about Miles Sanders earlier. Things not looking good for your boy Miles, okay? Hubbard was on the field for 8 more snaps than Sanders this week. He had the same amount of rushes. Neither one of them looked amazing, but he had double the yardage with the same amount of carries, same amount of targets in the pass game. Hubbard's been there. I know Sanders was brought in as a guy because productive last year, but yes, with that, probably the best offense the Eagles have had since the year they were supposed to win the Super Bowl. And, I think Miles Sanders is starting to flounder a little bit there. So look to get Chubbard on your bench if you have a spot. I don't know if I'd fire him up this week, but he's a guy that you can see down the line with a guy like Sanders, a lot of soft tissue injuries, not performing well. Hubbard could get worked into the rotation a little bit more, but I'll take it. 8 more snaps than the guy in week 4, outperforming him on the ground. I mean, if you're in any type of competitive league, 10 to 12 teams, you're not going to find much better on the waiver wire than a running back that can have that type of volume.
Yep.
True that.
I like that. All right, my next waiver wire pickup would be Mike Wilson. He's starting to show out a little bit in Arizona. He's got 9 receptions, 162, 2 touchdowns. And if you look at just the last 2 weeks, he's had 36 fantasy points. So I think he's coming on. He's finding a way. him and Joshua Dobbs are somewhat finding a chemistry. I think he could do a lot worse than Mike Wilson.
You know where he's not rostered? Not in any of my leagues, because I told you guys about him preseason. Mike Wilson was the real deal. I have him rostered on almost all of my squads. He is on my bench. So great pick there, Rocky. I totally agree with that.
Why are you talking with a southern accent?
I don't know. I like to do accents every once in a while.
Me too.
Oh, should I go back to this?
No.
You like that one? All right. So let's stick with the wide receivers here. I think at this point in the season, like Phil just highlighted, finding significant running backs on the wires, like finding gold, usually doesn't happen unless there's a significant injury. Wide receivers are a little bit easier to find, right? So you want to make sure that you're targeting the right ones. And what I'm going to tell you is this guy is targeted often, and it happened this past week in Carolina.
Okay.
This team looks like it wants to get out there and start really getting Bryce Young to open this offense up. And Terrence Marshall had 10 targets in this game, caught 9 of them, albeit for like 60 yards. It's not, it's not scorching the earth at any, by any stretch of the imagination.
PPR, you'll take it though.
PPR, you'll definitely take it. He's averaging 7.1 yards per reception. Again, you're not scorching the earth, but what you are doing is you're getting a guy that they're looking to get the ball to, early in the game, early in downs to make a play. That translates later in the year to having more and more confidence with this guy as the offense finally finds its grooves. Marshall's going to find the grooves in the defense, and he's going to start, upping his yardage totals and scoring some touchdowns towards the end of the season. He is not rostered in very many leagues, so Terrence Marshall right now, go out and get him while you can.
I like that pick because Terrence Marshall's a guy they spent pretty significant draft capital on.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm going to reiterate this. We've said it leading into the season. Fantasy, when you're not talking about your top tier performers, guys that are going to produce no matter what, you're looking for volume. Talent is great.
Yep.
Volume is better. Give a guy opportunities. I'll take that all day over a guy that I know that flashes. So I like the Terrence Marshall thing.
Yeah, he's getting the targets. He's kind of like Elijah Mitchell. He's not getting a ton of yards, or Elijah Moore. He's not getting a ton of yards, but he's getting targeted like crazy.
Targets.
And so even if you only get 8 points as a PPR, it's good. Like you kind of know his floor.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
you tack the yardage on, you put that guy in your flex, 13, 14 points.
Yep.
I'll take
You're
that
happy.
every day.
Yeah.
you extrapolate it out over the season, you're looking at over 100 targets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great for a dude coming off your bench.
Yeah. All right, so you're going to be able to speak to this a little bit, but I'm going to talk about another running back, Jaleel McLaughlin. Don't look shocked if you never heard of him. He's rostered in under 1% of leagues right now per ESPN as we speak. Basically emerges the lead back for Denver after Javonte Williams went down, and he looked pretty good. I know you were watching the game. He had 10 total touches, 7 carries for 72 yards, passing game, 3 targets, 3 catches, 32 yards on those, so about 10 per. Scores a touchdown in the air. Look for a matchup next week against a team that should be blowing the doors off this team. And McLaughlin gets some, late work, gets some, dump downs when they're trying to catch up. Either way, with the Javonte Williams injury, I think McLaughlin is a guy you could probably start next week and see where it goes with the Javonte Williams injury. But another
running
running back.
Monitor that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But he's a guy you could plug and play in your flex probably next week.
He looks very explosive when he was playing. Albeit, it was against the Bears.
A lot better than P. Ryan.
But he looks a lot better than P. Ryan.
Yeah. P. Ryan definitely is not showing out like I thought he would.
I cut bait with P. Ryan after a week too.
Yeah. He looked good in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he has not looked good.
Another quick, if you guys don't mind,
go ahead.
honorable mention that just jumped into my brain while we're talking about running backs and gold off of the wire.
Mm-hmm.
I highlighted last week Melvin Gordon, who had some, he didn't have as many significant touches, but he had a couple of big gains this week. A name that I'm seeing flying all around right now is their rookie. I think it's Keontae Mitchell. In Baltimore, that everybody is talking about his athleticism, how explosive he is, and how dependable he is, and hearing how going forward he's going to be a staple in that backfield in Baltimore. So that's another one to keep your eye on this week. I wanted to tell you this week in there as an honorable mention because come next week he might not be available for you.
Good one. All right. So with that being said, that's pretty much the show. I don't know if we want to just let out a little bit more hate and angst against Zach before we go. I know he is a bad sport. He's one of the worst guys ever. I invited him to my home. I've never talked crap about him, but he just consistently likes to throw darts. So he has a lot coming his way that he doesn't know about yet. But that being said, hope everything's well with you and your young lady friend. I hope she's feeling well. That's why he couldn't be here today. But yeah, hate you, Zach.
You know, you know what? While we're on it, right? You're mentioning that, you know, a terrible sports friend to have, right?
Yeah, bad sports friend.
He embodies growing up in South Jersey why I hate Philadelphia fans. Yeah. They're always poking the bear, right?
Yeah, but it's always
always their season, and when it isn't their season, you can't talk shit to them, right? Because they're like, oh, well, whatever. We have this injury. Oh, Santa Claus hates us. That's why we throw batteries at them. All this horse shit, right? But the second they have any success at all, they start pointing fingers at your teams, and then you come up with the same excuses. They're like, we don't want to hear excuses. There's no such thing as excuses in football. And you're like, why are you making them every goddamn year? Then you're making excuses. I can make excuses. We have a shit ownership. We have shit quarterbacks in our history.
Right.
I have plenty of excuses. All right. Philly doesn't have any excuse.
Yeah.
The best thing that came out of Philly was the movie Invincible. I think we can all agree on that.
No.
What's the best thing?
Well,
that
first
came
of
out?
all, Rocky.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
I was
That's
gonna
bad.
say, in
That's a
general,
bad cut.
the best thing about Philadelphia in general is
What
just
about
movie characters.
What about
Food.
not
That's
the
about
Back
it.
Boys to Men? They came out of Philly,
They don't
right?
really- I mean, you get better Phillies in like New York.
No, I ain't talking cheesesteaks.
Okay.
Philly's got some decent pizza.
Yeah.
I don't know what is Philly style pizza.
No,
It's
not
just
Philly style
pizza.
pizza. It's just like boardwalk pie. They do like good boardwalk pie and stuff. There's a couple of good places.
A big fucking deal. All right.
Anyway,
So before we go, as we did last week, I think we all did pretty terrible. Well, you were close, but it's not fair because it was a loaded deck.
It was close.
All right, we're not going to talk about that.
No, I think we should real quick. I think we should, right?
So-
What did he say? Evan Ingram's going to have a monster game.
What we're supposed to do is do
monster game for a tight end.
A bold take, right?
What do you want?
So a bold prediction for fantasy or a player. And I think I said Bryce Young was going to have 2 touchdowns and over 250 yards passing. Mark said something ridiculous.
Devontae Adams. Well, Devontae Adams, I said he was going to go for over 300 yards. Jimmy Garoppolo, late scratch in that game. Enter Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell
Looked
gets
pretty good, actually.
He does look good. I think he's going to be their quarterback next year.
He got Devontae Adams almost killed on a terrible throw. And Devontae went out for the first half of the game, returned in the second half, put up some numbers, but not nearly what I called.
Yeah, so Rocky said
Evan
that
Ingram, the
Evan
monster.
Ingram would have 60 yards and a touchdown.
He got targeted like 8 times. Come on.
Yeah, but he got targeted 8 times the week before.
Listen.
And it had more than 60 yards, so it wasn't very bold. That's all I'm saying.
He was a top 3 tight end.
You played
probably.
it safe, though, right? All right, so this week we're going to do some bold predictions. Do we want to read Zach's or we want to say fuck Zach? What do you guys want to do?
Well, I can tell you.
Okay.
He texted me and he said Joe Burrow. He said he's going to be a quarterback 1.
Quarterback QB1.
QB1, he said that he's going to be, this game is going to put him back on the map. And just based on these numbers, he's going to instantly fly into the top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
Wow.
I think he's calling Joe Burrow. I think he said 600 yards.
What?
5 touchdowns
That's crazy.
by halftime.
By halftime. See, now I think you're lying.
He's lying. He said something like 300, 2 touchdowns.
He said something very pedestrian for a quarterback.
Let me see. Did he actually give us one or no?
Yeah, it was Burrow.
Oh, two touchdowns, 300 yards. I mean, I guess that's bold.
Yeah.
That's bold.
I'll do my next
Against Arizona.
That's not very
That's
bold.
not very bold.
Since we're talking about quarterback,
Okay.
I'm gonna go along with my love of C.J. Stroud. This is the rookie's first 3 touchdown, 300-yard game.
Okay, I like that.
Against the Atlanta Falcons.
I like that. That's a good. That's good. That's bold enough.
Can you give me something? Give me something higher than 300. You going 325? You going 350?
He had 3 touchdowns, pretty high.
Yeah, 3 and 300. Listen, he
All
only
right.
has 6 touchdowns for the season.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. It makes it. He has to do both.
All right. Do you want me to go? Here's where you go bold. All right. I'm gonna take this lowly New York Jets team going into Denver against that shit defense, and more importantly, their shit run defense. I want to take Mr. Breece Hall and his 9 yards per touch average going into Denver. He's going to run all over Denver. You're looking at 175 yards total, 2 touchdowns.
Okay, listen.
Breece Hall.
Let me ask you a question. First of all, Phil, Which one of us, or was it you and I, that said Brees was going to have a hard time coming back? I think it was us.
Yes, it was.
And what game did we say he'd start looking like Brees Hall of All?
You didn't say week
week
1.
5 or 6.
Week 1 he went off. What are you talking
went
about?
off?
He got
He
lucky.
didn't?
He went off?
Yeah, he had
one long run.
6 touches for like 112
He had
yards or
one
something.
long
He had a big run.
A big run on a broken
But he looked
play.
great.
Well, he looked better than I thought he was, but he didn't
Yeah.
go off.
And then
I
he's
mean,
looked
come on.
pedestrian ever since.
Sound like a casual saying he went off.
$175, 2 tutties.
That's a big projection. I'll give that to you.
Yeah.
All right, so with mine this week, I'm going to the wide receiver position. A guy that we all like a lot. It's been a little quiet, at least for him. And unfortunately, Mark, he's going up against your Chicago Bears, and that's part of the reason I'm picking him here. Sam Howell, outside of 1 week, has looked pretty solid. He's looked pretty confident throwing the ball. And I think it's time for Scary Terry to get in the mix here. So, Scary Terry's not gone for more than 86 yards in a game this year. I'm calling for 125 and 2 touchdowns. Scary Terry.
It's a Thursday night game.
come for
Impossible.
town. Oh, it's going to happen.
You're not allowed to score. The
Yeah,
only
they're
game
normally low scoring. Yeah.
Yeah, not this week, buddy.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
those are pretty big predictions, I think.
Yeah, they were good.
not bad.
Hey, so if you like the show, if you like us, Chalkboard, Thrive, get on there. Use the promo code for Thrive, Chalkboard, get in our chat rooms, look at the picks, look at the cheat sheets, and get in there and talk to the other fantasy players. Like I said, it's a community over there. We're trying to build up, but there's a lot of other players. You can bounce ideas off of guys, get roster ratings, trade grades, all that type of stuff. Hit us up there. Go follow our socials at GOM Podcast on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and are we still on Twitter or X or whatever it is?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
Listen, this is all I know is join us TikTok Live Sunday
That's
morning,
right. That's right.
11 o'clock. We are literally sweating gold for you people.
That's true.
Giving you keys
Last
to the
2 weeks have
kingdom.
been crazy.
Listen, who called the Rams running back? Me.
You.
Who said he was top 5? Me.
All right, Scarface.
Just
Ah,
listen to
damn.
us. Listen to
No, we had a lot of great calls the last few weeks. So if you were
Yeah.
watching that live, you probably won a few of your games.
Yeah.
We're squirting league winners all morning
Yeah,
long.
that's right. All right, so YouTube as well. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Comment down there whether you disagree or you don't. Either way, we love you. Guys on Sports. Peace.